Today on the channel, we're breaking up the Komodo Kamado and we're making calzone. What's up, barbecue fans? Welcome back to the patio. My name's Jake. You're watching Ramen Cook. Haven't made calzones yet on the channel, and let me tell you, a Kamado style grill does good at a lot of things. But when you start making pizzas and calzones, it really does shine. So today, we're gonna make a calzone. First off, we gotta start with the sauce. And all I've got here is some peeled tomatoes, okay? One of the brands that I use from Italy, and these are good quality tomatoes. You wanna start with a good quality tomato. And all we're gonna do here, now there's already some basil in here, which is nice to have. If I had some fresh basil, I'll actually add a little bit more. And we're gonna add about a teaspoon of diamond kosher salt and about the same in pepper. Just like that. Thank you, Pepper Cannon. And all we do is turn this on real quick. Now here's the secret. You don't want to go too long. You just want to pulse this. That's about it. Maybe one more. That's it. We still want a little bit of texture to our sauce. So this is ready. Now, lots of people will cook this down and thicken it up. In my experience for calzones and pizza, this works well for me. We're gonna put this into another container here, bring it outside. I'll go get the dough. Let's go on the next steps. Time to make the calzone. What is this pizza box, you ask? Well, let me tell you. So last night, I was all proud of myself. Late last night, I made a double batch of dough. So I had a whole bunch of dough. I was gonna freeze some. And this morning, I looked at it in the fridge and I was like, didn't quite get as big as it should. Maybe I put it too low in the fridge, so I let it sit out for a couple hours and it expanded, but it had no texture at all, just fell apart. So always go down to the same pizza joint. I walk in there and he's like, the usual? I said, yeah. He turns 2 pizza doughs. So I'm talking to him for a little while. Really super nice guy, right from Italy. And I said, you know, I tried to make some pizza dough last night. He's like, well, what are you doing here? I said, well, it didn't work out so well. I think I had some bad yeast, and he said, you know, what kind of yeast are you using? I said, you know, Red Star, active yeast. And he kind of shook his head. He said, listen, if you want to make pizza, you got to use real yeast. So he's like, I'm going to get you some. I go there all the time. And he cut me some fresh yeast and showed me how to use it. So I'm going to be making some legitimate pizza here soon. However, so that I could do this video, I had to go with my fallback plan. And listen, like if you don't know how to make dough or you don't have time to make dough, maybe you just don't care, don't want to make dough, you can go down to your favorite pizza place. They'll probably sell you a dough for like $5 or something. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna cut this in half. And if you're not gonna use it that day, put it in the fridge. And what I would do if they give it to you in a pizza box or whatever, wrap it in saran wrap or put it in a plastic container with some oil, cover it in oil a little bit, because what'll happen is the outside will get hard and dried out. You could also cover it with a wet dishcloth or something like that. But all we're gonna do here is we're just going to break this down. We're gonna use a rolling pin here and we're gonna roll this out. And the nice thing about half of a pizza dough is it gives us a good shape for a calzone. You wanna try and get this a little thin. All right, so right now, if you look at that guy, we are thick. We still wanna go a little thinner. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna keep rolling this out. And if you feel like the dough's kind of fighting you too much, just let it rest. The gluten will fight you. So if you let it rest a little bit, even 5 minutes is all you need, then what'll happen is it will relax and you can make your dough again. So this guy's definitely fighting me a little bit, so we're gonna turn it over here. I'm gonna see if it'll give me a little bit more. And you can see it just springing right back. So we're gonna wait. Apparently the flies like calzones. So I'm gonna wait just a couple minutes here and let the gluten relax a little bit. So been just a couple minutes. Let that relax a little bit. You can pick that up and stretch it out a little bit. And then make sure you also grab the edges a little bit, because you know we just stretch out the center, but we also want to stretch out the outside here. Let gravity do its thing. And I don't pretend to be a pizza expert. There's a whole bunch of different ways to do this. This is just what I've used that's worked for me. I will not be picking up my pizza dough and spinning it around or doing any tricks anytime in the near future. But as you can see, we've got pretty good shape now. And because we let it relax a little bit, it's not pulling back as much as it was, which is a good thing. All right. One good rule for good measure. And you want it fairly thin. Now, make sure it doesn't stick. Traditionally, a calzone does not have any sauce in it. A stromboli has sauce in it, although in my case, I'm saucy and I like a little sauce on the inside. So we are going to do a little bit, and then I'm going to heat some up for the side to dip it in. But this is the sauce that we made. Now look, because we only pulsed it twice, look at how thick that is. If you go any more, it'll get real runny on you. So a couple quick pulses. The thing here is to put all your toppings in the middle. We want to be able to seal that properly. Cover back up our sauce. Now you could easily leave this the way it is, although in my case I like to dress up a little bit. So we've got some onion powder, and the purists are probably crying right now, but this is how I do it. Some basil, some oregano, and because everything's better with garlic, we got some fresh garlic here, minced garlic. You can get this at Costco. Actually, it's not fresh, I didn't do it. But I just like to put a little bit in a spoon, take a fork, spread it out a little bit. Vampires are never gonna come near me because I love garlic. Now we get into our toppings. Before this gets away from me, I'm gonna stretch this out a little bit. Most important part, do not use naturally shredded cheese. That stuff is garbage. There's no such thing as naturally shredded, and it's full of any caking agents. Use a high quality mozzarella, then it won't be as greasy, it'll melt nicer, and it takes 2 minutes to grate it up. Now I'm just gonna use some red onions and some peppers. Love me some bacon. Everything's better with bacon. I don't know where peppers came from. I don't even like peppers. I got some bacon bits here that I made. And just like any other time you're eating bacon, there's never enough. So don't be cheap on the bacon, folks. Speaking of not being cheap, don't be cheap on your cheese. I like to put a little bit in the bottom and a little bit on the top, because you can never have too much cheese. All we're gonna do now is we're gonna take some water here. We're gonna put it around the outside. That'll help us stick. And we're going to get this closed up before the flies invade us. And this will just help this stick together. And so what I like to do is just pull this out, make sure that we can get a good clean contact with no sauce or anything in the middle. And we'll just pull this over like so. We'll try and make it match here. Now we've got a nice clean seal. Push hard on this, right? You don't want it to burst. And then I kind of just turn it in on itself and make that the edge you see traditionally on a calzone. And if you're having problems, you can actually take a fork and push the ends together, make sure they stick well. Today my dough's working with me, must be because I didn't make it, and we're sticking pretty good. There we go, we made that nice and tight. I like to just kind of lift it up a little bit, make sure we're not sticking. You can see I didn't use any flour. We don't need any flour. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna make this real easy. I'm gonna get some parchment paper. We're gonna pick this up real quick, right in the middle, okay? Make sure that we're nice and tight. Double check this didn't come apart at all anywhere, because I really don't want it to leak. So you guys can see what we're doing here. My edges are turned over, and we're just kind of pulling and turning. Now, because we want this to look good, we're going to take a little bit of olive oil and a little brush. Now, don't go crazy with it, we just need a little bit. Try and cover all the surfaces. This is going to help it brown. You could use an egg wash if you want. Olive oil will work just fine though. but don't use too much. We're not trying to, well, can't talk and pour at the same time. We're not trying to fry it, we just want to give it some color. What would make this even better? Just a little bit of Parmesan cheese. Take a little chunk here, and again, try and buy some quality Parmesan cheese. There is a difference in the flavor. A little sprinkle on there, just like I went to a restaurant, only better. Now that our masterpiece is done, time to put on the Komodo Kamado. Now, we're running a 425, 410, right in there. Got my pizza stone up here. Just to make sure I don't drop this guy, we're gonna use our peel. We're gonna pick it up here. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna wait about 15 to 20 minutes until we're golden brown. I'll bring you back when we're done. 8 minutes down, I'm gonna turn it around just to make sure we get some even cooking. I know that the one side's a little hotter. Oh, we got a fail. It's leaking on me. Oh well, it happens. We're gonna let that keep cooking. I'll bring you back when it's done. Let's get this guy off. Now we went about 22 minutes. Now remember, I'm opening and closing that a lot, trying to get some other pictures. So I think 18 to 20 minutes is probably where you're gonna be at 425. We are good. It's the sound we want to hear. Eyeing some bacon here. Bacon's good, it got out a little bit. I'm gonna take this guy inside real quick, let it cool off, and then we'll cut into it. So, we let this cool off for 5 minutes. Here's what we're left with. Just a thing of beauty there. And what I did is I put the sauce on the stove, you know, for 20 minutes. And you can see just how much it thickened up. It's always better with a little bit more cheese. And that, my friends, is a delicious meal. Time to dig in. Before we do that, real quick, you can see this guy a little soggy on the bottom. It's because I put it on the plate right away. Put it on a cooling rack and allow air to circulate, and you won't have that happen. It's still gonna taste delicious. Let's have a look. Lots of cheese still left in there. Fortunately, with all the sauce on it, can't really see what's going on. And you can dip it in sauce. I mean, I kind of poured it on for the picture, but when you pour it on like this, it does make it go soggy kind of quickly. I freaking love calzones, man. They're so good on a Kamado style grill. Just love the flavor of them. Absolutely delicious. We had a little cheese melt out after I lectured you on closing it up. Other than that, it's darn near perfect. Really happy with it. Great flavor. You can taste the garlic on the inside, which I like, and I like a little bit of that seasoning on the inside. Bacon, onion, cheese, charcoal. What more do you need? This is absolutely delicious. One of my favorite things to make on my Komodo Kamado. They always turn out good. They take a little bit of prep time. However, when you bite into it, it's well worth it. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. I'm gonna tear this up. If you're not subscribed yet, please do so below. While you're down there, give me a thumbs up. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.